Hi there and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. This is A Country Life, and today I have for you guys the Thanksgiving pie collab. So last year I was part of this collab with Keri from my family of 3, and so this is the second annual Thanksgiving pie collab. Today is November 3rd. There's already 2 pies that have gone live on YouTube in the last couple of days, and this is going to go all the way until November 17th. So definitely be on the lookout for all of the pies this month. Kind of starting it earlier, ending it earlier this year so that you guys have plenty of time to get the ingredients and figure out what pies you might want to make for Thanksgiving dinner. Today I'm going to be making a blueberry crunch pie. This pie recipe is actually in cookbook number 1. If you are new to my channel here, I have published 2 cookbooks, and I have in each of them I have 150 of our family favorite recipes. So this is in cookbook number 1 on page 57. Let me just show you the recipe quick. So there's the recipe. It is a super easy, just a blueberry pie filling with a nice crunch topping. It's a sweet pie. It tastes, if you like chilled pies, it's delicious chilled with a little bit of whipped topping on it. So what we're going to do is get started on putting together the crunch topping. I'm actually going to be making 2 pies because I want to show you 2 different ways to make this. So we're going to make a double recipe of the topping. To get started, we're going to put 2/3 cup, I'm just going to give you the single recipe of it, 2/3 cup of brown sugar into this bowl, 3/4 cup of oatmeal, 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to get that mixed together. Maybe I should have used a little bigger bowl this time, since I'm doubling it. And then we need 6 tablespoons of butter. I have 4 tablespoons there. And let's see. Perfect. Here's 8 tablespoons and 4, so I have a total of 12 tablespoons there. And then we're just going to work this through. It's going to take a little bit to get this to be crumbs. You want some just good crumbs. So this is like making a streusel topping. All right, this takes some time, not hard, just takes a little bit of time. This is the hardest part. Like I said, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make this pie, and this is actually the hardest part right here, is just if you make it the first way I show you. This is a great way to impress your family if your baking skills might not be exactly where you want them to be. All right, that we are going to set aside. You can see this is what the crumbs look like. This is the really, really easy way to do it. You just buy these frozen crusts. There's 2 of them in this package. I bought the regular. They have deep dish and regular. And I'm just going to be using one of them. And then for the pie filling, you're just going to buy a can of pie filling. So I recommend if you're going to make a pie with pie filling, get the best quality pie filling that you can find. When I went to the grocery store, they had 2 brands, and this one seemed like it was going to have, according to the little, their little write-up on the back, seemed like there was going to be a little bit more blueberry in here. So I chose this brand. It was only about 60 cents more than the store brand. And you're going to pour the pie filling If you want to make a deep dish pie using the frozen ones, just go ahead and buy the deep dish frozen pie crusts, but I would get 2 cans of pie filling because nobody wants just like an empty pie. Lots of crust and no filling. All right, so I'm just gonna get this spread out. And now we're gonna get some of the crumb topping. Just spread it all around, all the way to the edge. I'm using about 1.5 cups for this one here. And then the rest of it will go onto the next pie that I show you how to make. This pie is ready to go into the oven at 375 degrees for about 40 minutes. Basically, you know, you're just looking for the crust, or you want the topping to be lightly browned and you want the crust to also look nicely browned. So about 40 minutes. Now right below this blueberry crunch pie recipe in cookbook 1, there is also a recipe for homemade blueberry pie filling. I also in this cookbook have the recipe for my favorite pie crust. It uses lard. You can use butter as well, but just lard is just my choice for making pie crust. And you can do, so I have my topping already, and now I'm going to show you how to make homemade pie filling and a homemade crust. If you just really want to, you know, take it up a notch, do everything from scratch, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have time, canned pie filling and ready-made store-bought crust is perfect. At this point though, I do want to just take a little break to share with you today's sponsor. Are you searching for the ultimate holiday card? Look no further. Simply to Impress has you covered. They have so many styles to choose from. They have absolutely superior quality cardstock printing. You can opt for premium lined envelopes, which makes it even more spectacular. And let me just run you through how easy it is to choose your card. You just go through their website and you can choose the size that you'd like, the style of paper, what edging you want, what type of finish you want on the paper. Look no further than Simply to Impress for the most beautiful Christmas cards. This is the first year that I have gone with Simply to Impress, and I am absolutely impressed. They're absolutely gorgeous. So now let's take a look at some of their custom samples. You can get 35% off all custom holiday cards plus free shipping by using my code Country L35, all capitals, Country L35 at the checkout. All orders that are $75 or more will receive a complimentary holiday card display garland while supplies last. So go to simplytoimpress.com/holiday to design your Christmas cards today. And now for the final reveal of what it looks like to have all of your Christmas cards put up on the holiday display garland. Isn't that cute? It goes with just about any decor, and I cannot wait to start getting our first Christmas cards in the mail as well. Okay, homemade blueberry pie filling. 3/4 cup of sugar, and then start with 1 cup of blueberries, fresh or frozen. Mine are frozen. And I'm going to stir this until it's very liquidy. I want the I want the sugar to be all melted and the blueberries to completely juice, and I want this to be very, very liquidy. So I'm just going to have this turned to low. I'm going to let it go for a while I get out the ingredients for my pie crust. For my homemade pie crust, I'm just going to show you guys the recipe here, and I'm just going to very quickly take you through what I have done. You can go and look at last year's Thanksgiving pie collab. I'm pretty sure that I showed how to make homemade pie crust in that video, and I've also done it so many times on my channel that I think I even got a comment once. Someone said, enough with the pie crust already. So I know I've shown it a lot of times here. 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to put that in my KitchenAid, and I'm just going to mix that, just kind of stir that up a little bit. Then I'm going to add in 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of lard, and I'm just going to start and stop my KitchenAid until that's like crumbly. In a liquid measuring cup, I'm going to put in 5 tablespoons of icy cold water, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and 1 egg. And I'm going to whisk that up and then slowly add that while my KitchenAid is turned on. Oh, I have to start stirring my fruit. While the KitchenAid is turned on, I will be slowly adding in the liquid ingredients just until it's combined, and then I will turn it out, divide it into sections depending on what size pie you want to make. Usually I can make 2 double crusts with this recipe. So this is going to make more than what I need today. So that's why this is such a great recipe. If you are in charge of taking the pies to Thanksgiving dinner, you just make this, and it makes 2 double crust. So you could make like a cranapple pie, and then you could make 2 pumpkin pies, because those both have single crusts. One pie crust recipe, and you'd have all of your pies ready to go. Let's hop back over here to the pie filling. I've been stirring it here. I have it on low, and it takes a little bit, as long as I've been talking and telling you about the pie crust, but this is what it's looking like so far. It's still not, the sugar is still not all the way dissolved, and it's not as runny or liquidy as I'd like it, so I'm going to let it continue to simmer for a little bit longer. And I've gotten this question before. It seems like every time I show my salt, I get this question. This is just a lid off of a Parmesan cheese container. It fits the regular mouth mason jars, and it's got, it's got the shaker side as well as the scoop side, so it works great for, well, anything you want to put in a regular mouth mason jar. Just save these lids, and because these are expensive if you want to go buy them at the store. And that's what it looks like, mixed up and made into crumbs. Now I am going to just step away from this for a second, because I do need to do the next step on the pie filling. If this is your first time, you may not want to do it the way I do it, which is to jump back and forth, and you might want to just kind of stay focused on one thing at a time. That works fine too. Now I'm just making a little slurry here, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch with 3 tablespoons of cold water, also making a mess. I just want this to come kind of dissolve, and then I'm going to pour this in to the blueberry mixture over here and let it cook until it thickens up like a full rolling boil, and then let it cook for maybe a minute, just until it gets nice and thick. If you could hear that, but as I poured in that cornstarch mixture, I was stirring the whole time. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. All right, I have 5 tablespoons of icy cold water in there, 1 tablespoon of vinegar going in, 1 egg. Well, that's a tough shell. I've said this many times before. Sometimes I just grab whatever is closest to me. Like I was just measuring water and vinegar with this. I mean, would a fork work better? Yes. But why dirty more dishes? I turned the heat off and I pulled the pot forward. Okay, so that is done. Well, it needs more blueberries, but that part is done. And now I'm just going to turn this on to low, and I'm just going to drizzle this in. At this point, you can tell that this is very, very thick, and you can add a little. You don't have to add any cinnamon or nutmeg, but at this point you can. It's really optional, but just a little bit of nutmeg. That goes a long, long way. And then I'm also going to put in 3 more cups of frozen blueberries. That's what makes this blueberry pie filling so good, is because you only cook part of the blueberries. You don't cook all of them, so it doesn't turn into just a mush mush. You still have a lot of whole fruit in your pie filling. So I'm going to put my camera down and give this a good hard stir. smells delicious. All right, I'm gonna use this deep dish pie plate. It might be a little bit big. This might be a little big for the amount of pie filling that I have, but honestly, I just want to try it this time because I used to always use a Pyrex pie plate that I did have, but that one broke. A friend of mine had bought this for me for my birthday, and so I've just been using this one. This one's a little bigger than that one though, but we're gonna go with it. I have plenty of pie crust, so I am gonna grab a pretty good size ball of crust. I like to shape it into a circle to get started. Make sure there's no cracks along the edge. And then I do like to use a French rolling pin. And what I'm gonna do is bring my camera down here. And I just keep turning this so that I'm always keeping this in a circle. That is how you get the best pie crust shape, so that it actually fits your pie plate and doesn't just turn into a terry mess. Although sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's just the weather and it just happens. Flip it over every once in a while. And just because you have plenty of pie crust doesn't mean that you want to make a really thick pie crust. You still want to roll it thin. You don't want it to be overly thick. That really takes away from the fruity filling if you have too much crust. All right, this is plenty of crust. I didn't need this much. That's okay. We'll just trim the edges. I like to fold it into quarters like that, you see. I can put that point into the middle of the pie plate. Now remember that you're going to want to check out the description box, because I will have all the links for the playlist and for the web page that has all of the pies from last year, and it will also be gradually updated this year as pies continue to get posted. All right, we're going to put the pie crust or the pie filling in. I cannot believe that it is today. It actually happens to be October 29th, and there is a fruit fly flying around the kitchen right now, and it's really irritating me. We're just going to dump all of this on top, spread it out, maybe eat a little piece. Now comes the time to make your crust pretty. I'm just tearing off a little bit of the extra. I'm going to turn this under. And there is the almost finished pie. Fully homemade and homemade with some store-bought convenience items. So there's two options for you, and both of them are going to impress your guest. I will just say that right now. This is a delicious, delicious pie, and it's a little change of pace at Thanksgiving to have a blueberry pie. I think that not many people think about that at Thanksgiving, and it is a nice little change of pace. Okay, I'm going to get these both into the oven, 375 degrees at the same time. My recipe says for 40 minutes. This one is probably going to go, this one is going to go 40 minutes. This one may take a little bit longer. It is deeper, but you know, they also cook differently if they're in like a ceramic pie plate, a glass pie plate, or a foil pie plate like this one. So just be sure to watch them carefully. And you know, when you really start to smell that smell of pie, you're like, oh, I should probably go and peek in the oven at them. And then with my extra crusts, I like to make them into little discs, wrap them in saran wrap, and then put them into a Ziploc bag, put them in the freezer. I have it labeled pie crusts with today's date, and these are going to be excellent. I have been feeling like I want to make chicken pot pie. I could pull these out and make, make a chicken pot pie and like just some other random pie, a cranberry nut pie or something like that. I could save these for Thanksgiving. Really, I have some options, but it is nice to have pie crusts ready to go in the freezer. Well, good morning. Yesterday we were in the middle of making supper and I was grilling steak out on the black stone and I just could not grab the camera to film. So first pie out at 40 minutes. It was just perfect. And then I left this one in for about 10 minutes longer. It seemed like it could have come out at 40, but I just did not want like the bottom of the crust to be kind of, I just didn't want it to be underdone. So I put this one in for another 10. You can see the difference. A little bit later today, I will pop back in here. We will slice these pies and have, you know, just have a little slice of pie. Probably it's going to be supper time. We have a really busy day today and lots of things taking us away from the house. So we have a lot of things taking us away from the house today. I still have to finish getting ready here this morning, but I will be stopping back in here after supper, and that's when we're going to slice the pie and have a piece of pie. So stay tuned.